So I wasn't able to get on, they do have the conference calls, Kevin puts them on, and then they had a couple, one on the first and one on the second, and then they're gonna have a couple more on the 6th and 7th. I'll probably try to listen in on one of them. I did talk to Jeff Heisey just a little bit, and he told me that when I looked over at the budget, if I had any specific questions, to give him a call. He did bring one thing to my attention that's a little bit different from the past, which on page 1 here, there's this future funding commitment of $400,000, and what that is, and you know, they did a really good job with this this budget. I don't remember seeing this in the past with this level of detail explaining everything, but it was really helpful. You know, just from going through it, I was able to figure out, you know, that's why I didn't have to give Jeff a question. So anyway, this future funding commitment, it explains it, you know, that this is, they're trying to pre-fund the budget, and it's a line item so it can be changed year to year. And they're primarily trying to get ready for the Category 3 elections and the new leadership training and the next UAL negotiations. The international elections will be next year, so there will be the cost that will be associated with that. So I think that's kind of getting ready for that to a degree, right? And other than that, I think it, you know, from looking at it, it's pretty much similar to what we've had in the past. They, as far as the local budgets, we've had this where we give back, it's 6 or 7%, I can't remember the exact amount, but they're basically, it's a status quo budget from what we've had for the last 3 or 4 years now, I think. It's been that way, right? Hasn't it been, where we've had this 6-7% give back, I think?
6%.
6%, yeah. So anyway, that's pretty much going to be the same. Some of the numbers change a bit when you look at these because Continental became a part of United, and so, you know, when you look at the United numbers from a previous year, it might show a certain number and then it shows like a huge jump for this year, but that's only because Continental has now been folded into ours, like specifically on the NBC budget is one of those where it shows that like $1 million more change, but that's only because Continental is still not separate.
What page is that?
That's on page 6, the MEC budget. If you look, it shows 105% change,
Okay.
but that's only because that extra $1 million is what would have traditionally gone into the Continental MEC budget.
And
now it's all
considered part of that budget.
It's all part of the United budget,
okay,
so
right.
that's why that number is such a jump. And then on that same page down at the bottom, you know, all of these airlines, because they haven't negotiated their first contract under AFA, they don't pay dues yet.
Gotcha.
So we're hoping they'll get their contract negotiated soon. And then when you go on to the next few pages, it goes to the LEC budgets. I mean, for our Council 14 specific budget, you know, we fall under that situation where we would normally, there's a small council minimum of $2,500, but then with the give back, it comes down to $2,350, which comes out to that's how it comes out to that 28,200 number per year. That's the amount that is derived only from the dues from our local membership. But as I pointed out to other people, because we're so fortunate with our flight pay laws, in essence, we've never touched a penny of that dues money because our contractually negotiated flight pay loss more than covers, and you know, we've had a huge surplus every year. And so, yeah, that money in reality,
Do you
we've
have
never
a pretty
really
good flight pay loss?
Yes.
touched on it.
Great.
So
Yeah.
the smaller carriers are definitely going to benefit from what you guys are doing.
But see, other carriers, they don't necessarily have the flight pay loss and stuff, and I don't know what it's like for those
There's
individual
fewer.
carriers. Yeah.
So
yeah, so
but
we're-
your carryovers that your, you know, give backs will help
Right,
them
we
out.
help them out, exactly. Because it's kind of, unionism is kind of like socialism. I mean, that's really what it is at the end of the day. You know, we're all
Right.
supposed to be helping the least amongst us, you know, and I've definitely always been more than happy to be a party to that, you know. And then on page 12 on the negotiations budget, when I looked at that, I mean, there were some, of course, huge changes on the United negotiations budget because we finally finished ours. So that is sort of a thing that fluctuates year to year, you know, and it's just going to be kind of where they're at in negotiations like Hawaiian, I noticed yours is jumping up a bit because now you're starting to roll into the serious negotiations period there. The system board, I don't know how they figure that year to year. How do you know how many like grievances and system
Right.
board, you know what I mean?
How
Maybe
would you
Sharon
trend
would know
it?
more about that. I'm not sure how they would really trend that. I have no idea how they derive those.
I don't know how they trend it, but I know that we fill out a report that basically what we've had in the past, what we're projected to do for the future, but I don't know how they project trends or anything like that, so.
I don't think they're trending it. They're looking at what your report is. So, we said, oh, we have all these grievances pending arbitration. Plus, it's so expensive to bring our attorney
Legal.
here.
Oh, yeah.
He has to fly for full fare. And,
Why don't you have an attorney here locally?
It'd be too expensive.
yeah.
You don't,
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
we're just assigned, AFA has their attorney that's assigned to us, and that's who we deal with.
so.
And who does he handle?
I think.
Who do you guys
he's
have?
With
Jay
Frontier.
Trumbull. He does some Frontier. he's
Frontier,
done-
Mesa work.
So he does, you
Sounds
don't
like a
have
region.
enough, you don't have
Sounds
enough
like a
work to
region.
just cover, for him to be full-time with just you. He has to be, he's spread out among,
yes.
I see, I see.
I think United might be the only one that
I think
has
you are.
staff attorneys.
I think
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And even if we did have enough work for him full-time, they wouldn't do that because this is about, spreading the work out.
Exactly.
I see, okay. Yeah.
So yeah, that must be like, sort of like a divining with how they
We don't-
come
we
up
don't
with
know.
that.
We
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. I mean, I can see, yeah, if you have specific grievances that you can see are in the hopper and heading towards system board, then yeah, you would have a good idea as far as that. But as far as grievances that might be filed, yeah,
I mean,
that would be a total
we
crapshoot.
projected over last year we had close to 75, and the year before that, I think we had like 55. So we're kind of going, we're increasing as we go along, more grievances. So far this year, we have like 30, 35 filed.
You're growing.
So, and we're growing.
So it seems to be a trend growing more and more each year.
So
Yeah.
is it just infractions that, the company
Normally,
is not?
scheduling.
Mostly scheduling.
Mostly scheduling issues.
I see,
for
I
the most
see.
part.
And a bunch of them are the same issue.
Yeah,
I see.
So they're not all
they're not all
different
brand
subject.
new. It's-
Right, that need to be, and hopefully in your new contract, it's gonna be,
Yes, resolved.
yeah, okay, good, good. Yeah.
So then, when we get to page 20 and 21, the consolidated budgets, so, again, I mean, I think, so I see from 2016, 2017, it does show like the LEC at 18% increase and the MEC at 26% increase. I'm guessing that that's just a result of growth in membership. I'm not exactly sure.
I think it's a gauge. So that is, it's a reflection of the growth in the.
It was just a growth in membership, okay, yeah. And then also on that page, they have the carryovers, and again, those are kind of estimates until the end of the year, although by now they would probably have a pretty good idea of what they're going to be. And that's actually the next few pages, they're all just the consolidated budgets for the various offices. This is the one on page 22, like I said, when you look at this,
Upward trend.
yeah, right. I mean, and it does go up every year, but that, their salary is, it's a formula based upon the highest negotiated contract, so that automatically went up once we ratified our contract, because that probably became the new highest
Oh.
hourly rates, I'm guessing. Yeah, this 403,000 that it shows, that's including, that's Sarah, Heather, and Tyler.
I think 3 of them, yes.
Yeah, all 3 of them. Whereas this one, the vice president, that's only Deb, because I don't think she, and then when you look at the secretary treasurer, again, that's higher, because I think that's Kevin and Betsy, I believe. And there may even be some other people that are in there, so it's a little bit tricky to try to decipher exactly what they're making. But like I said, it's a contractual, it's a formula anyway. page 24. Those are all just affiliation dues.
Which is, it's very minimal in the grand scheme of things for
Right.
us.
Right.
So the next pages go office by office for the
Right.
international offices.
Right.
From page 28 for the president, vice president at 29, and then 30 is the secretary treasurer respectively.
And then the office, in general, that's all the staff on page 31. And then 33, safety, health, and security.
So each committee is.
They, you know, the international, like EAP, safety, health, and security, a lot of, do you guys do your own in-house or do you use the international?
We use
for-
international.
Yeah. See, we have our own in-house, but I know for most of the other airlines, yeah, that's what it's covered through the international, so that's why they have, you know,
And so,
significant budgets like
To
that.
to that topic, I was kind of curious about the 6% decrease in that.
Which one is that
those
now?
budgets for safety, health, and security. Why would that go
On
down?
which page, Sharon?
I'm sorry, 22.
22, huh?
Yeah,
In the international
I'm just
office.
looking through it, so,
It's, unfortunately, this is kind of like a consolidated budget, so it doesn't go to break down the rationale. Like more expansive budgets will say, we reduced it because, for blank reasons. But
Right.
this budget is just kind of like it glazes over
Yeah.
items. But I think that if you want more explanation, you can reach out to anybody in the department. I don't know if it's like Dinkmar or.
And do they cover
Candace.
this, will they cover this at the BOD?
No.
Oh, they don't.
That
But if
just
you
saddens
ask,
you
me
can
that-
I mean, if
that-
people ask
if people
specifically,
ask, they
they'll.
would, you would ask.
They
yeah.
would?
Uh-huh.
So anyway, yeah, the next few pages, those are all the various international committees. And then 38 is legal and collective bargaining. Again, that's the kind of thing that's going to fluctuate depending on where individual carriers are, I think, in their negotiating position. That's just the membership engagement committee, I think, yeah, and that's it. Do you have any like pearls of wisdom?
Well, I think in terms of the collective BOD and the budget, you know, ordinarily when you create a budget, you look at like your usage the past year and the year prior, and then you try to like forecast. So I'm certain that that's what they did. But it's really just kind of like a brief overview of the budget. But if there's like specific questions that anybody has, again, like Kevin said, just let us know and we can ask international, and then that way we can get something a little more direct. So that's absolutely, you know, something we're happy to do. But in terms of reviewing the budget, it's pretty straightforward. And so I'm anticipating that it shouldn't be too challenging. Any budget questions? Good? Well, thank you for attending our required pre-board of directors budget meeting. Sometimes numbers get a little daunting, but again, if you like review this or you see anything that you have a question about, please don't hesitate to let either one of us know. And we're happy to take it to the board, or we're happy to get the answers for you, especially the question you had asked about the air safety budget. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.